Right.
We're rolling?
Yeah. So just first of all, just like who are you? Like what are you doing out here? What jackets we got on?
How did we get out here? Great question. So we are in Donner Pass in Tahoe, and we found this really beautiful spot where, well, I guess the whole reason we're out here is we're dropping our second drop for Delusional Ambition. It's an apparel brand by DRC Creatives. And the apparel brand kind of represents the idea of being crazy enough to think that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve and pursue the creative life and kind of disregard social norms and any parameters that have been kind of set on you that would otherwise stray you away from pursuing passion, creativity. So that's kind of what Delusional Ambition represents. We just dropped these hoodies. We got 2 different colors, and we have a white sweater as well. And so we're just out here getting some content for it. We have Tom and Ian, who just built a crazy ski line that they went down and a few jumps. They're doing another one behind us too. We got the whole crew just hanging out, having a good time, really trying to build a narrative around why we're here today. And not just like here to grab content. We're here to like capture the essence. We're here to live what we preach, essentially. You know, we're out here because we're crazy enough to think that we can like design an apparel brand and make it.
Yeah. And I'm assuming DRC, like Davis Raveco, like that's what started a couple years ago. And I think you were living that delusional ambition back then, especially with maybe some of the tougher moments where things didn't go as planned. Like you maybe got like people were talking shit in the frat with us. Like, how have you like what was that transition like between like living the brand before the brand existed and then like the origin story of the brand?
Yeah, you know, I didn't really realize that delusional ambition was like a part of just like my character and how I kind of carried myself until I put it into words. And now we're trying to like dissect exactly what it means, because I've come to realize a lot of other people share that kind of piece in them. And it's this cool process of collectively realizing that we all have this piece to each other. I think you attract the people that you embody, the type of person that you are. And so kind of surrounding myself with very creative people that all have this little thing, you know, this little feature, this little characteristic that we are very passionate about our creative crafts, whatever it may be, whether it's photography, event producing, DJing, anything. We're very passionate about it. And so I guess it really came to fruition when I started talking to Tom and then Gael about it. So those were the 2 like pioneers for the thought behind the idea of Delusional Ambition. And we kind of created the apparel brand based off of that idea. And it definitely started from Davis Raveco, DRC, the events that we were hosting. And I mean, that's still a whole endeavor. It's really fun to do. And it kind of backs the whole Delusional Ambition idea too. It's living out what we preach.
Yeah. And I think the delusional part, like being paired with ambitions, like the most essential part, because delusion on its own is what the word means.
Yeah.
And then
you don't get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's just being crazy.
And then being ambitious, it's like that's nice, but when the hard times come, when people don't believe, I think that's where the delusional steps in to keep the ambition going.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely a balance. You know, if you have like this unmatched passion that a lot of people do have, you need to like, it's not a plan without like steps, you know, and you have to, we think very big picture all the time. We're very abstract thinkers, but I think, on the same token, the brand represents the ability to turn that creative, abstract idea into reality and turn it into something that exists and it can happen and it's real.
Yeah. And then kind of going from that abstract to real, why clothing?
Fashion, apparel, it's something that people identify with. We wanted to create something that other people could have that makes them feel a part of this as well, and to remind them that their passion shouldn't be overlooked. They shouldn't be stepped on by any roadblocks that you may encounter. You know, it's really easy to kind of choose an easy path and to settle for a career that you may not have a good passion for or not be insanely excited about. And the hoodies, the balaclavas, the sweaters, the hats, everything is just a reminder that let's do this. You know, we can find the right people and you can make it happen.
Yeah. I think on that delusional note too, it's for the long haul. Like Delusion
Oh
keeps
yeah.
you going longer. And when did Davis Raveco start?
Davis Raveco started in 2022.
22, and then you were continually doing work there. And
Yeah.
then how did that evolve for like that interim between those 3 years between then and then now to Delusional Ambition?
A whole lot of experimenting. A whole lot of experimenting. Because of the situation I was in when I first started Davis Raveco, being a college student, and it's I think being in college and starting a project like that of your own is something that everybody should experience. Everybody should try, because worst that happens is it doesn't work, right? And then you have that experience. But being fortunate enough to have that time to experiment and to like pursue a passion. I really love hosting events and creating experiences for people. And through the resources that I had in college, the people I knew, the network that I was kind of presented with, we were able to build a community of people who kind of shared this passion. And so Davis Raveco was started. And again, like I mentioned, a ton of experimenting. We tried a lot of different types of events at a lot of different venues. And I think that experimenting and frankly messing up, mistakes all the time. Like there were plenty of roadblocks that we hit, 180s and pivots and all these like moments where we were like, damn, that was a mistake, or like this is not what we should be doing, and we need to try this, and we need to like try something new.
Now, you mentioned the community building. I think that's something I've always admired in like what you're able to do. What's the team like? How many people do you got? How did you start going around finding people? Like, and like, how do you keep people on task? And like, I know it's still a process, but
Yeah.
just what's your approach to team building, especially for those who are college age where they might not be able to pay people? How do you get them aligned on the vision? And, like,
Everybody sees the passion that we all have. When I first started Davis Raveco, for a long time, it was just me that was kind of heading everything. And I noticed a lot of people wanted to get involved. And there's a lot of people who reached out and they're like, I'd love to like I said, get involved with what you're doing. How can I contribute? How can I help? And it took me figuring out how to receive that passion and give people a responsibility that aligned with their strengths and also their passions as well, because that's hard to do too. You have to identify, because everybody wants to help and kind of be a part of something cool, but it comes down to like figuring out, and this can be done through conversation or experience or a lot of like time, figuring out what people's strengths are and where they best fit. So to answer your question, the team now, there's 6 of us. We have 6 departments. We have creativity, media, art, events, and community. And with those 5 departments, we kind of encompass everything that we do. And when we first started, we were only events. We were just hosting shows. Well, actually, when we first started, it was promoting. Like, we were just promoting shows. And then we started hosting shows. And then we built out a pretty big media team. And we realized we could take media gigs that weren't necessarily related to the events that we were throwing ourselves. We could get paid as a media company to shoot and cover photo and video content for other concerts, for other commercials, for other corporate shows. And then we branched out. Tom got really involved and built out the whole art department. And we have a few really cool art initiatives with that. We have like the Open Walls Collective, which is a mobile gallery with interactive painting. And it's a balance between finding a niche, something that you're really, really good at, and only focusing at that as a company. And on the other hand, like being able to say yes to everything and encompass, like we are a creative agency is how it's like how we characterize ourselves, but that's hard to describe because we do so much.
Yeah. 100%.
So to some people who hear creative agency, it's like, what does that even mean? So it's all different. Or every creative agency is unique, but I think that what we have special is definitely the community and the people that are part of the organization.
Yeah. And I think just keeping an open mind for the evolution is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And I think in order to allow something to evolve, you have to first start. And I think that was probably you behind a board, having fun, making your own beats.
Yeah.
And then it became something bigger, and like just the ambition driving you through, just like, I need to keep creating. Not to put words in your mouth, but like, what was that kind of it? Just the experimentation. Who can I bring in? Like, all right, you're passionate about that. Take over that area. Run with it, like Tom and the art.
A big thing that I really try to emphasize when people get involved with what we do is to to not limit the creative freedom that people come in with, because when there's a lot of passion and ambition that people have, delusional ambition, that people come to me and they're like, I have this idea. It's the worst thing I could do is tell them like, that's great, but, and then constraint, parameter, you know what I mean? Because then it like defeats the purpose of why we even exist in the first place. So if I can hear ideas and say, cool, how are we going to make it happen? Let's do it. Let's have a conversation about how we can feasibly turn this vision into a reality.
Yeah.
Because people have really big ideas, and we aren't an organization that shuts down big ideas. It's the opposite of what we are. So, yeah, it just comes down to like planning out strategies to turn visions into something that's real.
Yeah. And then looking forward, what's the goal with maybe DRC first and then Delusional Ambition as it folds under that?
So this year, there's a lot of more experimenting we're trying. But I think it boils down to what you said is keeping an open mind. I think we have a goal in mind of where we want to be in 1, 5, 10 years. But at the same time, sticking too closely to a goal can inevitably, like, things are going to change.
Yeah.
It's not going to end up how you always plan it to be. And so navigating a 1, 2, 4, 5 year plan with flexibility and the understanding that things are going to change is pretty important. And we want to build out DRC to be at festivals. We want to host our own festival eventually. We want to continue hosting events around California, around the US, maybe around the world one day as well. We just launched DRC FM, which is like a radio broadcast of DJ sets. We multicam the whole thing, and it's more of like an emphasis on highlighting the local talent, and we give them a platform to do their thing, like creative freedom, do
like
your
tiny
thing.
desk almost. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Very similar to like Boiler Room concept as
Sure.
well. And so we've been doing that. And then with Delusional Ambition, I mean, we have a lot planned for Delusional Ambition. We want to take this brand global. We want this to be something that people around the world feel very, very aligned with. This is the opportunity for people that want to get involved with what we're doing to get involved. We say yes, and we can be like, I guess a sneak peek into what we're doing is a lot of brands, a lot of clothing brands take their apparel, and the backing of why that apparel exists in the first place is most of the time fashion, because it looks cool.
Yep.
And then second most often is culture. There's a culture behind it, like skate culture with Supreme. Mm-hmm. We're taking a similar approach, but I think that ours is unique because we're going to have an affiliate network of people who are actively living a delusionally ambitious life, people that have proven to succeed in achieving their creative passions and goals. We're effectively going to bring them on to an affiliate team, and they're going to represent Delusional Ambition. They're going to be part of the team designing new apparel. We're going to have drops for each different creative. We're going to be very hands-on involved with people that are bringing this to the world.
Yeah, no, I love that. Anything else you want to wrap up with?
It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful day. I don't think I couldn't have asked for better weather. I mean, we're here. Today's Thursday. We're here Friday, Saturday as well. It's gonna be a busy weekend, but great friends, great people, great weather. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for being here.
No, love to be here. Sweet.
Sick.